We'll call the Town of Rome Plan Commission public hearing and regular meeting to order for Tuesday, June 13th, 2023 at 4 o'clock p.m. Item number 2 on the agenda is a roll call. Starting on my right, please.
Weisinger here.
Williams here.
Baker,
Dilge here.
Jamadi here.
Capel here.
Commissioner Janzek will be late. Also present are Town Administrator Jamie Gebert, Town Planning and Zoning Administrator Emily Zeddies, and Town Attorney Nicholas Flanagan. Item number 3 is to certify the posting of the meeting. Emily?
The agenda for the June 13 Plan Commission meeting was posted at the following locations on May 30th, 2023. Rome Municipal Building at 3:46 p.m., Quick Trip at 3:50 p.m., Nacusa Port Edward State Bank at 3:56 p.m. It was emailed to the Wisconsin Daily Tribune at 3:43 p.m., emailed to the town website at 3:43 p.m. The legal notice was printed in the Wisconsin Daily Tribune for the comp plan and rezone on May 14th and the 30th and June 6th for the entire agenda.
Thank you. Item number 4 is to approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded. Is there any discussion?
Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to move item D, the public hearing, and item 13 off the agenda for a future agenda because of the inability to actually look at the plat that was presented to us along with all the other information.
What were those numbers again? 13 and
7D and 13.
7D. Okay.
You want to make that in the form of a motion then?
Do,
Or just ask if they're willing to amend that into their motion first, maybe.
Okay, then the question is, Jerry, on your motion she would like to remove 7D and 13 to a future agenda. Would you amend your motion to agree to that?
Yes, I'm not sure why would be doing that. We've had a month to go over all this.
we were just given this information today, just as I sat down.
All right, I'll amend the motion to move
7D and 13.
7D and 13 to next agenda, next month's agenda.
Jeff?
Sure. I'll in a second.
So he has a motion.
Did you say sure?
Yes, he
Yes.
did. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I thought you were looking for more time.
No, my fault.
Okay, the motion's been made then to remove of item 7D and item number 13 from the agenda to a future date. Is there any other discussion? Then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 5 is the citizen comment portion of the agenda. Any cards that anybody wants to speak? Okay. And then I know Jamie talked to most of all of you that are in the audience, which, or 5A, the commission will also take comment from the public on agenda items as they're called by the chair, but not during the citizen comment portion. Please note that once the commission begins discussion on an agenda item, no further comment will be allowed from the public on that issue. Item number 6, informational updates, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring forward? Jerry, I know you got something.
Yeah, the Rome Snowbands will have their annual car show at the Town Center Park on Saturday morning, starting at 9. Be 150 plus cars and snowmobiles there. A lot of food, music, a lot of fun. So invite everybody to go down and participate and take a look at all the vehicles.
Rain or shine.
It's going to be a nice sunny day. If you can believe the weatherman. He's not too accurate.
We do have materials for the brewery So it'll be I guess, they're working on still finding materials. Materials are hard right now. But it would be the True Cedar brand, and this is just to show quality of material, but if you just wanna pass that around for them, it would be the wood siding vertically. So it'd
Just
be
the brand
vertical,
and
vertical wood.
RTC?
Would look, cause it's not wood, but it'd appear to
Where
be
they've been
wood.
doing all that land clearing.
Yeah.
So this would be a more durable material than actually having wood, longer, lifespan, longer, or more, trying to think of the phrasing, it's probably in that book.
Durability, more
Durability, yeah.
But this is the color that they're,
Yep, it'd be that color exactly, just vertically.
but this
And
is,
that'd be
which color
100% of the front.
The cedar color?
Yeah, that's just to show quality, so it's not gonna be that exactly, but, 100% of the front, 50% of the right elevation, and then they have a lot of windows on the other side, so it's not technically 50% of their left elevation, but it would be a good chunk of their left elevation as well, and then 25% on the back.
Okay. Is the music on for tonight?
we are not sure. We were going down to look, we had not seen a posting that it was not, that it was canceled.
Okay, so you wanna explain, there's music at the gazebo at
I've-
tentatively at 5:30?
Yep, and it's at the second Tuesday of June, July, and August at the gazebo. It's a sponsorship through Heart of Wisconsin and Visit Rome.
And then I would like to announce that, Tuesday night, I attended the highway meeting, or was that Thursday? Attended the highway committee meeting down at Adams County, and they, approved, there was only one dissenting vote, but they did approve the stretch of County D to open that up to ATV, UTV traffic in the town of Rome. So now that just needs to go to the Adams County Board for their full approval, and that section will now be open, to traffic if it passes at the end of the month.
It's between 8th and 9th.
Yes,
Right.
between 8th and 9th, yes, that one section.
I'm sorry, and just, Jerry was also present with you too.
Yes, Jerry was with me that evening, the two of us were there, so I represented the town board, and Jerry had advocated for that, when he was a supervisor at the time, so we've been asking for that stretch for quite a while, and we're members of the Monroe Prairie ATV Club, so if anybody wants to be there to represent the town in that interest, their meeting is
June 27th,
at 6 p.m.
yes.
So, and Mike Baker, serves as a county board rep for the town, so.
Is there anything you don't do?
I haven't yet figured that out.
It's called retirement,
What's the,
like the rest of us.
how does that play out? If the town, or I'm sorry, if the county board passes it, is there a period we have to wait? Like, does it go into
First, there's a
effect?
celebration, then there's balloons. No, just-
It just has to be signed.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like on a Tuesday, we could start riding on it.
No,
It's gotta be
it's gotta be signed.
signed.
The
the
signs
signs
gotta
have
be
to put
installed
up.
before it's legal.
That's what
Yes.
you meant.
Signed.
I thought you meant.
No, yeah, I meant like post.
on the document, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, it needs to
Yeah, the sign at 9th would have to come down and,
Two signs that have to be erected.
yes.
Showing the road.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, the English language, okay.
Anything else from anyone?
Nope.
Okay, item number 7 is to open the public hearing. 7A, consideration of the proposed comprehensive plan map 9 amendment from forestry to rural residence and zoning map amendment from FR Forest and Outdoor Recreation District to R4 Rural Residence District relating to the property owned by Mark and Christina Stelzner, also described as Government Lot 4, located in Section 3, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-524, total area 40.0 acres. Emily?
Letters were sent to 2 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. The comprehensive plan amendment was noticed 30 days in advance of the plan commission meeting. The applicants are requesting the zoning change to allow them to build a house on a 2-acre section that they did pull out of MFL. They plan to use the remainder of the property for outdoor recreation activities such as hunting. Since there is no road frontage on this parcel, it cannot be divided into smaller parcels. They are requesting R4 over R5 because of the house size. They don't want to go as large of a house that R5 requires.
Okay. Is there anyone here? Mark?
Well, Mark's right there.
Okay.
I'm here, sir.
You want to step up and kind of let us know what your plans are?
So what it,
If it gets
you
approved?
look at it, I have a little thing here for you, sir. But basically, we bought the 40 acres. We don't want to change it in any way, shape, or form to 38. We want to leave that in MFL. We want to take 6/10 of an acre, which is the actual landing that was there, turn that in and have that cleared and place the house there. The other 2 1/4 acres that we pulled out with, that would make the total 2, will still remain as forestry. But we'd like to have it zoned as residential so we can build on it, but we plan on doing nothing else with it.
Since it doesn't front on any roads, how is your access gonna be made to the
We have
property?
easement off of Akron,
Akron?
yeah. I learned the name, sir.
Commissioners? Questions?
I guess I got one question for, how do we, R4 requires a frontage of 250 feet. We don't have any frontage.
So that would present a complication, particularly if we were dealing with a land division or subdivision. It would trigger our land division ordinance and our requirements that would prevent any kind of land division from occurring here. For example, if there was some kind of conversation about portioning out a small section, right, and dividing that. Since we're not reconfiguring that lot in any way, subdividing, then it doesn't trigger that requirement, which I think is rooted in 326.
Yeah, which is why people can build houses on the 1/4 acre lots all throughout Lake District, because the minimum lot size is 1 acre. So it wouldn't apply unless there's a land division or combining of a lot.
Bill?
Isn't this the section where we just revised our comprehensive plan to change it to recreational and remove it from forestry and therefore prevent housing from being developed? Is this not that area?
It is in the area of outdoor recreation, and I think he did state that it would be mostly used for outdoor recreation, but it would
Right.
be, he's asking to build a house on it, yeah.
I understand that.
We're changing the comp plan
What I'm
already.
saying is that we just finished a review, and the review said, we want to keep this area forested or recreational and not have housing in it. That's what our review just said. So personally, I'm opposed to the request.
Well, I am somewhat also. Have you ever considered putting a camper on there? You can have a camper out there.
Yeah, okay, you cannot live in a camper. Let's just put that out there first.
The other thing is when we looked at it and when we first talked to you and we understood that it was forestry recreational, there are houses in that area. I know they were built prior, but I mean, when you take a look at what we're going to do with it, we're not subdividing with it. We're not planning on doing anything. We're not planning on taking any timber out. So really, we meet your vision up on the wall, sir.
For the ingress and the egress, and it's a dirt road at this time, I believe.
It's a 2-track, yes. It's,
So that'll fit emergency personnel back there when you live in your home? That'll be wide enough for the emergency personnel should something happen,
I
fire
would say a
trucks?
2-track would support that, yes, ma'am.
There will have to be a Y-turn or a 100-foot circle put in for the fire truck to turn around. When the
And-
home permit is taken, it will be required that a driveway over 200 feet has a Y-turn for the truck or a 100-foot circle.
And
So like a U driveway would work, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, all right.
so they would be able to back out in and turn.
Yeah,
Or they could just continue forward. Yep.
we would have that, we already have it set that that 0.6 of an acre that we would clear would have a U-shaped driveway in it, so that would support them and no problem.
Are there currently any ATV trails going through that property?
I believe the one that would go east and west is an ATV trail. The one that goes north and south, when I first looked at the land, had signage on it that it was closed to ATVs. It was a private road, and we have an easement on that road. And then, of course, you have, what is it, County Line Road? That would be just north of that also. And it comes out on the west side of 10th.
Adams. Which is an unimproved earthen road.
Are we being asked then to take all 40 acres and change the zoning on it? Okay.
Yeah, because we wouldn't split zone a parcel. They actually asked if they could just rezone 2 acres, but I said you cannot, because we cannot split zone a parcel.
Yeah, we have definitely taken an approach that we don't split zone parcels, as they're not consistent with sound zoning practices or planning practices in general.
Now, I know you made the statement that there's no road frontage on the parcel, so it cannot be subdivided into smaller parcels. However, if at some point in the future, a road is completed in that area, then this property can be subdivided into 10-acre parcels if it's zoned R4?
As long as I own it, it won't happen. That I can guarantee you, man.
Well, and there's no dedication, so there's no dedication for road. I mean, it's not to say that there couldn't ever be a road. If we're just talking about hypotheticals, I guess if there was.
Well, future planning, growth of the town, or, you know.
Right, which would take, but it would take some significant steps to put a road in with, absent any reservation or dedication for road purposes.
And a significant investment. It would, a mile of road costed us out this year at $330,000. So if a developer bought it and wanted to subdivide it, a mile, the lot cost would probably be way prohibitive. Not impossible, but prohibitive.
So our current comprehensive plan, the way it stands, would allow for this, but the one that was currently done and worked through does not. It does not, either one.
Neither one.
It does not, right, so,
One, the land use would be forestry, the current, and then the one where we're working on amending.
waiting for the,
land use would be outdoor rec.
right, so neither one is really favorable to this, so,
I guess I see 2 ways of looking at it, land use versus zoning. Land use, the land use is outdoor rec, if he's maintaining the 38 acres.
except for the portion that the house would be on,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
And kind of to that point, I know in the past, and it's probably not something that you wanna consider all the time, but on a case-by-case basis, we've had a situation where somebody was looking at going R4 versus R5, and we did, ask that they consider putting, that restriction in writing to ensure that it wasn't going to be subdivided at any point if the hypothetical situation happened where there were. So I know we've asked of that in the past, and that was agreed to in that situation. When it was requested R4 versus something like rural estate residence districts, because of the size of the home that was being requested.
Would that run with the land?
We filed it with the, we recorded
We
it.
recorded it on the property.
Can you require that it stays in MFL?
We're leaving it in MFL. We've already only pulled 2 acres, so we can't yank any more out.
That's not a town thing, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure we could.
I don't know that we would go there.
But I remember one, we definitely, I don't know if this is the same one you're talking about, but we put in the findings of fact that if any land division were to occur, they must return to Plan Commission.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, I believe that you have other individuals here that want to speak on this.
Okay. Do we have, excuse me, do we have a pad, any paper up there that they should be signing in on for, speaking?
Oh, I had
I
one
don't
question.
know if we have.
There you go.
We can ask him.
Okay.
Oh, you found a pen?
Right here.
All right.
It's not a pen, that's a connection.
Okay.
Matthew Harn, and I'm with, just asking questions about Mark. I like the idea that, I know Mark has got it all surveyed, it looks really nice, and we have the land directly to the west of Mark's and Christina property. And our biggest concern was that it would stay in MFL, because I know you can always pull it out later on and pay the fine, but you can always pull it out. But the idea that, I know, Mark, you wanna put a house up or something, but you mentioned something that, to sign a paper, that it will never go, or it cannot go into a subdivision or something to that, somebody quoted?
It would need a return back to plan commission before anything is approved to subdivide the land.
Yeah, it places a
That I'm all-
limitation on land division, places a limitation on land division.
That I'm all for. I just don't want, that area is recreational, right? Like to keep it that way, that's all.
And that's how we wanna keep it also.
Okay. That's what I asked to consider.
So then your property bumps up against 10th Avenue there then,
Correct,
directly to the west?
correct.
We have another question for you, Mark, if you wouldn't mind stepping up to the microphone again, please.
The acreage that you pulled out, that you intend to build the home on, is that in the northeast corner?
Yes.
Northwest corner, I mean?
Yes,
The northwest corner?
right there, sir.
Okay,
Can I take that show real quick?
yeah.
So it was an old landing.
You said landing before, and I didn't quite understand what you meant.
When they logged it, I'm thinking that's where they haul the logs out to dump. Then when I met the gentleman back there and we had a conversation, he confirmed that was an old log landing. It's the easiest way to go, and it's less for us to clear. I mean, I'm only probably removing 15 trees out of 6/10 of an acre, so it's almost all open.
And then the easement that you said you have for egress and ingress and egress,
Runs up.
who's giving you the easement, or how?
So that was all worked on the deed. There is a copy with the deed. So when we purchased the land, we requested through Meteor that we get an easement. The one lady that we had to coordinate with was a Carol. And that come across, so we come off Akron and come due north.
And is it a perpetual easement, or is it limited in any way that?
It's perpetual. I own part of it, she owns part of it. So it's a co-use easement.
It's recorded as part of the deed on your property.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that, you need to have a driveway from that southeast corner all the way to your northwest corner for your house?
We use the east-west trail, then that would be to the north. There's a trail that cuts back that goes to 10th.
That's,
Anything else?
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
7B, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose: to allow for warehousing and self-storage on the property described as Lot 2 of Certified Survey Map 6696, located in the southeast 1/4, northeast 1/4, Section 8, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-641-25, total area of 7.73 acres. Emily?
Letters were sent to 5 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. And John Olson is here.
Okay. Mr. Olson?
Yep.
You wanna step up and?
Sure.
What can you tell us about your proposal, or that you'd like to be doing there?
Well, right now I'm speculating on the lot. I have a client that already rents from me that's possibly looking for me to put up a 10,000 square foot warehouse with some offices in it. Want to have the ability, if that doesn't go through, I already own Rome Storage right across the street from there. So at that point, I'd like the opportunity to either put in climate controlled storage where, none available in town right now. So pretty much what we're looking to do with it at that point, possibly, now that it's supposedly a gateway, you know, possibly even putting some kind of retail up in the front 200 feet or whatever it is that you were looking to put office and retail in.
Yeah, your proposal or proposed conditional use, warehousing, office, self-storage,
Yep.
is that most of that personal for you, or is that gonna be warehousing for the public, storage for the public?
Well, the warehousing would be for a client, the storage would be for the public, right? Yeah, like I said, I own Rome Storage, so I have about 250 storage units in town right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1121, 1123, 1125, County Road D. I own, I can't remember the address, the corner of 14th and Alpine, and I also own 242 East 14th, where I have 10 acres there. So I have 13 and a half acres over there right now.
So rather than saying self-storage, it should say rental storage, right? You're gonna rent out storage?
Right, but people are able to store their own stuff, so.
Right, but it's rental storage. Self-storage sort of infers to yourself storing your own stuff, material.
All right.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Bill.
So if there's office space available, are you planning on placing restrooms in the facility?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, everything will move forward at that point. Right now, I don't have a concrete plan, that's why I didn't. I assumed at some point I'll have to do a site plan and everything will have to be approved at that
And are
point.
you able to?
Right now, I haven't even, I'm 2 days from purchasing that property. Part of it was that I was able to get a conditional use permit on it.
Can you divulge what your client wishes to store there?
Wishes to store there? Food products, paper products, it's a large entity in Rome.
So when you say client, you mean a tenant?
Yeah, somebody that already rents from me now,
Okay.
possibly looking to rent a lot more space.
So when you say food products, do you mean you'll have refrigeration there then as well, or just
No.
no refrigeration?
None that I know of.
And is the warehousing already that, you know that's gonna occur, or that may occur and then you would go to the self-storage piece, to the rental storage piece?
The warehousing itself, if that does not occur, obviously, I have to come to you with a new plan as to what I want to put on the property.
Okay, so the
One of
warehousing,
those options would be doing storage, you know, climate controlled storage or storage like I have, not that I believe I need any more property to put the type of storage I have, and I have plenty of property for that right now. And I want to develop it into something that's gonna go along with that area. I've talked to other people that are neighboring that property that are possibly looking at putting little 3-store type, strip malls in there, and, you know, in the front, up towards the road, I wouldn't be opposed to doing something similar to that up front. Nobody's applied for anything yet. Just saying, I talked to a lot of people in town that own property.
Is this Gateway?
It would be in Gateway if it's in the first 200
Okay, so
feet.
there'd be a paving issue too then, as far as the,
It wouldn't be a paving issue. There would be a requirement of paving.
right, and are you aware of that?
Yeah, and anything I put it within the first 200 feet or whatever would have to have stone or whatever on the front end, right?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about,
If I built
like the
anything in
aesthetic
the
materials.
gateway
Yep.
area, right, yeah, yeah, I'm aware of all that.
Okay.
I have a question with regard to the application and the petition where you're showing that name of owner's prospective owner, John H. Olson.
Yep.
Do you have the authority to make this application?
Yeah, they made the application, but Emily said I should be the one representing it in this meeting.
Yes.
So the owners of the property, current owners, made the application for it. I'm here to start telling you what we're looking to do with it. That was what she suggested be the case.
So the petition for the conditional use permit has previously been submitted with the current owner's request. Is that Am I
So
misunderstanding?
he's buying the property, this would be under his name.
He doesn't own it,
He does not own this yet.
correct?
Yeah, so I suggested he would come and, cause it's his business, it's his conditional use, but,
It's not his property.
no, he's prospective owner.
We have in other conditional use situations, though, allowed the owner of the property to sign and it to be submitted. So the conditional use form was signed by the current owner.
So the signature on this is actually the current owner's signature,
Yes.
okay? Now, if this is approved, the signature that will go on the findings of fact, is there something on file that Mr. Olson can sign on the findings of fact?
So we have signatures for the owner slash applicant, so we can get signatures from both.
But not tonight? Oh, the applicant, I see what you're saying, okay.
Cause we're talking about the land, not the owner. And so findings of
Well,
fact having the
it
applicant's
says
signature.
landowner's signature, which is there, and then it says signature of owner applicant.
Yep,
The applicant is
John
John H. Olson, but it was signed by the owner.
Correct.
We can ask for a signature by owner and applicant, and because until there's closing, the applicant here would not own the property. So we
We
have,
could request both.
I also have issue with the number of storage units and warehousing that is in our gateway district right now. According to the overlay district, it's the first impression into our town, and the appearance is second only to the importance of safety. So appearance of what's in our gateway district seems to be coming inundated with warehousing and storage facilities and things of that sort. And I'm becoming more increasingly concerned about it because of other applications that are coming forward and people that are wanting to place storage units all over the town of Rome in the Gateway District and on Highway 13. And it is, I believe, a very bad impression in the multitude of them that are going up.
I guess where we're looking to, I mean, our number one goal is to put in a warehouse slash offices in that property. Anything that's gonna be within your gateway setbacks is gonna be set up to look the way you're requiring the gateway properties to look. If the warehouse or the storage units are put in, they're gonna be in the back, toward the back of the property. They're not gonna be within that first 200 feet or whatever it is that we need to put something else in at that point. So I mean, their impression is gonna be whatever's in the front. Like I say, where 1123 and 1125 both have offices on the front of those buildings. Either that warehouse is gonna end up having offices on the front that are set to the standards of the gateway, or whatever we end up putting in the front part of their property.
And this lot is considered a flag lot?
No,
It's not?
No.
Okay,
it wouldn't have been approved.
okay.
I mean, right now, obviously, you got the boat barn right next door, he's got 20 acres there. You've got this property, then the next one's gonna be the boat repair slash piers, whatever, that he's gonna be selling there. And then the next one is owned by, who owns it right now, who has their own private building set quite far back into the woods there.
Emily, can you elaborate on the flag lots, the determination on flag lots in that area?
So when I review CSMs, I use this rule essentially to determine if a lot would be determined a flag lot or not. So to set a ratio to make everything even, to make sure I'm not doing things inconsistently. If there's, if anything goes beyond a 2-to-1 ratio, so I wish I had a picture. Like the flagpole cannot be less than 50% of the widest part in the back. To prevent the skinny flagpole and the big flag. So,
Okay. And it does appear that that flag pole is more than the 50%.
correct,
Okay.
it is.
So I think what she's saying is, when we had that concern with what happened out on like Apache with that development, that sort of thing, that wouldn't happen again based on the calculation she came up with.
2 to 1.
Yep,
Help
and
her
that's
determine
located-
something.
That's located in 326. We catch that at the
Right.
point of any kind of land division. And then what's being described by the zoning administrator was practices we put in place because there isn't a bright line rule for it, but we wanted to put practices in place to be consistent in how we approach what is or isn't a flag lot.
So that helps us in the future, or helps her in the future and helps us, so that doesn't occur. Thank you.
So the conditional use that you're asking for is the ability to do just about warehousing, office space, self-storage or rental storage units.
Pretty much. I mean, either way, even, I mean, most climate-controlled units you would see in old buildings like Kmart and a lot of those big box stores, they turned into self-storage. They have a storefront or maybe offices in front of them. The back end is heated, air-conditioned, you know, for people to put stuff in that's, you know, that they don't want to leave out, dealing with the, you know, humidity and the cold and whatever.
The Wisconsin elements.
I think there's nothing really, Nick, there's nothing really that prevents us from doing anything. I understand Commissioner Diana's concern, and moving forward, we may have to make some decisions as a plan commission based on Act 67, which we've often talked about. So I think but I think in the future, moving forward, when we have these types of things, if we do something as a plan commission and moving forward, maybe we have plan of operations when these types of things come forward. So the whole purchase of a piece of property would help us. But I think moving forward, we have to look at what we currently have on our books, because there's really nothing that can keep us or prevent us from, other than putting some stipulations on this per se.
Conditions.
But there's nothing that really prevents us at this time, is there?
Assuming that, yeah, right. So assuming that the application that comes before you and what is being discussed with you is either a permitted or conditional use, I would agree with that answer. I also though think that you make a valid point that sometimes, particularly when you're dealing with conditional uses, it can be helpful to see even a prospective plan.
Right.
From a site plan of operation standpoint, not excluding the requirement that we would have still to come forward with a formal one in which we would approve, but it can help clarify some of the exact questions that I think are being asked today.
I was just gonna clarify, because the next one is very similar where it's a prospective owner. Since they haven't owned the land, and they don't own the land, and it's kind of sitting on whether it's approved or not, I recommended to them that they come forward for the conditional use prior to buying to ensure they're gonna get the use that they want to use the land for. Because as other businesses that have done the site plan of operation, it is extensive, and if they have building plans, it gets a lot of money. And if it's not a guaranteed thing, I did recommend that they come for the conditional use prior to site plan.
Plan of
Just to,
operation.
yeah.
And that'd be our concern. I'd want to
Right.
put $10,000, $20,000 in a site plan and architectural plans and everything else, and find out, no, we're not gonna let you do it there. You know, what do I do with money I just invested in that? I would believe you'd have a hard time finding many investors that wanna spend that kind of money upfront if they can't get, or they guarantee they're gonna be able to build it there. I mean, meeting the specifications of what are already put forward as to, you know, how it is to look and whatever.
And just to clarify, when I say perspective, I'm just saying sketch it out, give an idea. Some of the questions that are coming in are asking questions regarding proximity to the road, you know, and whether it's in the gateway. A sketched plan is low in cost, but good in information.
which is helpful to us in making our decision too. We don't have to have a full-on plan as well.
What is the dimension of the entryway, basically, the flagpole portion? Do you know what?
It's about 216 feet.
So it's 216 this way?
Yep, and the back is around 320-ish.
Okay. So there can be, well, can you actually get a property with setback requirements in that 216?
You're saying dividing it?
No. Building something within that,
Oh, yeah. You can definitely build.
okay.
I mean, you can do 100 by 100
Yeah,
building, which
you
you
can
can
do a
get
very
10,000
large
square
building.
feet pretty easily in there.
I'm not real good at math, so that's,
I'm pretty good with my math facts. I must have paid attention to the nuns when I was a kid.
With B1 business, would we, some of what John is saying might be a multi-use, if there was retail in the front and warehousing and then a self-storage, would we allow that multi-use on a B1 business lot?
Yeah.
can there be conditions placed as far as what will be facing the road? Like, it cannot be warehousing, or it's gotta be something that, and then have it go back further with the warehousing or with the self-storage, or can we make conditions similar, something like that?
Yeah, you're kind of referencing conditions that bring in site plan of operations, so yeah, you can make
And that'd
conditions
be-
that relate to the site plan.
Yep, and then the gateway, requirements for the aesthetic part of it too would all be in play. So yes,
That's where I'm going with it.
Yep.
Thank you. So I think that, your condition could, and then that would be a mindful tie-in to the idea that part of this is in the gateway.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything within the gateway area is gonna have to meet the criteria, so even say, for some reason I wanted to put warehouse that close to the road, which I don't want to, I would have to brick it out or whatever, it'd have to look like it's a regular building from the road, so I mean, either way, it's not gonna look like, you know, which one? 1121, where I have 3 buildings down each side and they come right up to the road, it can't look like that anymore.
And we wanna encourage some retail space,
Right.
which is great.
I looked at
That's-
some
we wanna
other
see
retail
more of
options,
that.
too. I know you guys are looking for a laundromat, I already figured out how to fix that for you.
Yes,
laundry,
Yes,
yes.
All this
I
to do
haven't
with
heard that
this
one.
you
sewer.
didn't think they could fix it, but I found somebody that says we can do that.
alright, come back with that plan.
Contained out
I will.
systems.
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay, thank you, sir.
Chair,
Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
Somebody else can speak on this?
You certainly can.
Thank you. My name's Joe Pollock. I own 1106 County Highway D, the boat barn. I was the previous owner to the entire 40-acre parcel prior to selling half of it to Ashley, who's now subdividing it into this 3-lot subdivision here. So I guess the first thing is I'd like to review how the property's stated here. If you drive by the property on D, Lot 2 is referred to the property that's been completely cleared of all the trees. And in this notice, it says Lot 2, so are we looking at the middle lot, or are we looking at Lot 3?
The one that butts up against you.
The one that butts up against me. So the notice is improper, I think? If
So,
that's the case, I don't know if there's.
I have the
Under the map, it's
CSM,
lot 2.
this is lot 2. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so the CSM, that's correct, and the advertising on Route D, or Road D is incorrect.
Probably.
So, okay, so the notice is correct.
oh,
So I guess my concern is after that, after listening to John, and we've spoken over the phone, so, and I've spoken with him about potentially splitting up my land and putting a strip mall up in the front. My concern is that if you go and look at the entryway to the boat barn, there's a large hill there. So prior to coming up with any of this discussion,
is there a topo that we can look at to see how that hill's gonna be handled and how everything's gonna be taking place? My concern would be the erosion of my land washing back onto his.
So that part of it, the erosion part would be part of the building permit application. The site plan will cover landscaping and the layout of the property, how it's gonna look, how the building's gonna look, the layout, everything.
Okay,
Can I ask a
something.
question to
consider.
back that up? Well, with the fact that that middle lot was cleared, which has been discussed, how does that impact that hill that this gentleman's asking about? Does that,
I do not know how that impacts the hill.
so how would that be dealt with at the time of this property? Would that all be
That lot,
handled?
that lot doesn't come up to the hill at all.
And I can't think of it right now, Jerry, so it doesn't,
No, no.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No connection.
All right, okay, thank you.
We have had the question though about, you have to be able to maintain your water that your property produces on your property.
Okay, all right.
We've had that conversation with previous situations.
Right.
So that's why when you build, we also have the erosion control that we're asking for. So you have to accommodate the water you produce from your runoff on your property. It can't run to your neighbors.
And that's what, I believe it definitely requires stormwater runoff from county, so
Okay,
that would be
the
part of
county
that
would be
too.
involved with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Emily, thank you.
Just clarification on the hill, it is directly right at the peak of the hill, actually. So I own the property, neighboring property, and I stand on top of it.
Right,
A lot of it would have to be cut out and retaining walls put in or something to level out that land.
for John's lot, yes, but for the lot that's cleared, that doesn't get
Oh,
that.
correct. Yeah, a lot that's clear is completely flat.
Right.
Right.
And that's
So-
being addressed, so.
Yeah, a lot of it's confusing because everybody keeps referring to the gateway, and it happened to me as well, but there's nothing consistent in the gateway. So therefore, there is no gateway, right?
Well,
As far as
We're-
buffering and trees and how much pavement, right? So, I mean, I bought that entire property 18 months ago, and I was told there were certain requirements. 200-foot setbacks, 200 foot of pavement going in, landscape buffers. I sold 20 acres to Ashley, and she has 67 feet of asphalt. They've cleared lots completely. So there's no consistency within the gateway, right? Cost me a lot of money. Because if I could have done what Ashley did, also with the land subdivision, we have 3 lots here. I was told specifically only square and rectangle lots. Now, according to what you just said, there's a flag shape equation. So I'm just trying to figure it all out, and that's part of the reason why I'm here tonight, to just listen to what the new rules are. So, okay, as long as it's advertised properly, and my main concern is gonna be the drainage there. I have nothing wrong with what John's gonna end up doing here. I think it's great. I'd like to do the same thing, and I hope it goes well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak regarding this conditional use permit application? Okay. Move on to 7C. Consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose: to allow a storage rental building on the property located at 1163 Anawa Court, owned by Linda Gehring, located in Section 17, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, parcel number of 030-788, total area 3.0 acres.
Letters were sent to 7 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. Linda is here. She is the property owner. The applicant who would be buying the property from her would be Mike and Vicki Sharpie.
Hello there.
Being a single person here, I'm struggling to take care of 3 acres. And I decided to try to maybe sell an acre of property. It's the wooded area, that's the wooded part, not the house and the garages. All right, just the wooded area. So I approached my neighbor and said I was thinking about selling it. And then he referred me to another gentleman here. And we would like, I'd like to sell it, but I didn't wanna sell it to somebody building a house next to me or putting in a, cause it's commercial property. You know, I don't know what kind of commercial property somebody's gonna put next to me, but he said he'd be willing to put it, a storage rental unit. He would do that because I have one next door to me. And, so I did have a problem with that. But if I can't sell that section and he can't put that up there, I don't know what I'd do then, you know what I mean? And I don't know if he'd want it then, you know, if he can't put that up there. So that's why I'm here, so if I get the okay that, so that I can sell it to him and he would be able to put what he wants up there. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. I'm assuming you might be Mike.
Yes, I am.
Do you wanna tell us what your plans might be for the property there?
Yeah, I'm just, like she said, right next door is a good friend of mine. He's got a storage building there, of his own, and I've been renting from him for years. And, I'd like to put a building just like it on her property right next door. And, do the same. I'd rent a few spots out and have a spot for my boats. And we're property owners on Lake Camelot, and, been up here for many years, and
So,
I was there at Claire's that day when she came over, and Claire and Monica said no, they weren't interested, because they still have that lot. There's quite a bit of space on that lot next to it yet, but, she said I should talk to her, and we have talked, and now, here we are. So we'd like to, she doesn't want a business of such on it or a house, but, a building like that, and, is what she'd like to have done, so we'd like to do that.
so are you looking at putting up like a big pole building?
Yeah, like a 50 by 100, just exactly like Claire's. I mean, I took a picture of his right next door to it. It's just a 16-foot sidewall, with Wayne coating. My wife, it'll be pretty. And so we're planning on, the charcoal with a dark or black roof and black wainscoting and black trim, and be two 14 by 14 doors facing the road with a walk-in door in the middle. Basically it.
So within the building, you would have 3 separate rental units?
No, it's just
Two?
an open shed.
So it'd just be one
Yes.
building?
Yes.
But you said you would keep one for yourself and then rent out?
I just put some my boats in there too, and I rent out some spots for other people.
Okay, so not, it'll just be a certain
No,
area, it won't
it'll just
be,
be wide open, and they'll
diff-
have to come and talk to me if they want their boat up.
okay.
We have done with other sheds like that, a percentage, that the owner can only do a certain percentage of own storage. When we've gotten to the site plan of operation, which would still be required after this step.
But I think it could be a condition here, particularly when you're talking about a use like this in a commercial district, that prevents the ability to use this for personal storage, in its entirety.
Say that again, personal storage?
Yeah.
Rather than the renting out?
Right, because it's the intention here is commercial use, right? Not
Oh.
putting up your building and then just saying it was going to be rented out to people, and it turns into just your own personal storage. Commercial is commercial, right? That there's a commercial use. I don't think that we have the allowed use to be personal storage in that way. And so I believe to what the administrator is referring to, in the past, we have put limitations on what their own personal use of that building from the standpoint of just personal storage would be versus the commercial use. That would really then hold them accountable for doing exactly what he's saying today he's going to do, which is rent it out.
So we would do a condition with a percentage kind of a thing?
I can't remember what we've used in the past. We can,
25?
but we can.
My memory
Say it was
was
25.
25%?
I think it was 25, yeah.
So the conditional use permit is for storage rental building, which is what it says on the petition. The finding of fact says for storage units.
That might have been my typo. That could be,
So
It would be storage rental building.
Storage rental building?
Yep, that was just probably my error.
Okay.
And then just to clarify, this is not divided yet, so it is 3 acres currently. She'd be dividing off this 1 acre, which is in the works right now.
Yeah, I just had it surveyed
Yep,
on Monday.
and it was sent to me and it's already off to county. But that's why it says 3 acres on the paperwork, but it's 1 acre on here.
Be the eastern 1/3 of the property, I think you got 3 acres,
I
would
got
be eastern
3
1
acres.
acre,
Yep, and they received this.
yes.
Yep.
The petition I have is not signed.
That, yep,
Is that
it
not a
was in not
condition?
signed. It wouldn't change anything, but
Well, but technically, should they not be signed?
we can have them sign it. That was my error too.
I don't, just, it's the way I am. Sorry.
Nick, if we approve this, wouldn't this give all 3 acres the conditional use?
So I was just, I was wordsmithing a potential condition, and then I was going to say, you could put a condition that requires the approval of that and limits it to the 1 acre.
The new CSM, the
Yeah.
forthcoming.
The lot 2.
So I was thinking the same thing as you.
That wouldn't be lot 2, would it? It would be lot 3, wouldn't it?
It would be, so on your CSM, your house and garage is lot 1.
My house and garage is lot 1.
Okay, so this is an outdated,
Oh,
this is
is
an
it
outdated
really?
one. Yep, so this is the brand new one you just had done. So this would be lot 1 with your house and garage, and this
Okay.
is the part you just divided off.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be lot 2 of the CSM.
Oh, really?
So is that CSM 2313?
I'm sorry,
Is that CSM 2313?
this is not recorded yet. So,
Oh, I see,
sorry, no, that
that's
is
the
an abutting
property,
CSM.
that's the property down there.
Yep, that's an abutting CSM. So this does not have a CSM number yet. It is to be recorded.
So what we would, if, you know, if we approve it, then the condition would be that the conditional use permit is only valid on, specifically right now, CSM 1677. And we have to specify the 147 feet and all that other stuff in our CUP?
I think I'd leave the phrasing up to Nick.
Well, maybe the condition would be subject to approval of the submitted CSM and limited to
Lot 2.
lot 2. And then staple that right to the findings of fact is how I would do it.
I did just look at a previous file too that, about personal storage, and our previous was personal storage not to exceed 10% of total square footage of building.
10%?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to stay consistent with some previous conditional uses that we've said, it was 10%.
The current CSM that we have here, which this is not subdivided yet.
It is.
It's not been
It was.
recorded.
I already sent it off to be approved. I approved it, and it's at county being approved and recorded.
Okay, so if we say lot 2, there technically isn't a lot 2 right now.
This prospective CSM, right? It hasn't been,
Prospective.
it hasn't been recorded
Okay,
yet.
because,
So again, reference it, staple it to the back of the findings of fact to make clear what the thinking process was in that regard.
okay,
Um,
because this whole 3-acre parcel is also known as lot 2.
Yes,
Right.
you're correct.
So I think we have to be specific about.
Any other questions? Okay. Anybody in the audience have anything that would like to comment on this proposed conditional use permit?
I guess I have a question for the prospective purchaser.
Yes.
If you can only store 10%, do you still want to go forward with this?
How big is your boat?
Well, 50 by
You're limited to 10%.
And a powerboat, I guess, I don't know, 10% of,
14 by 14. It doesn't give you a lot of
How many?
space.
any square, yeah,
500 square feet?
500 out of,
5,000.
5,000, so that's 10,000, yeah. I guess 500 would do it. But Sure.
It helps Linda, but he needs to be aware of the size, yeah?
I didn't want to
I was
blindside
saying
him.
it helps Linda, but you need to be aware of the size, I mean, what you all plan to store in there changes.
Now, the one right next door is just personal, and that's the
Well-
same size building.
We don't know, I mean, that's not part of the
I mean,
discussion,
that's
but.
been there for, 25 years probably, so I don't know if that's grandfathered in somehow, but it's a commercial property too, so.
I don't know, that wasn't part of our, but thank,
No, I just don't want you to be blindsided.
Yeah.
That's all.
What's that?
I don't want you to be blindsided if
Blindsided.
you make the purchase.
Anyone else? Okay. 7C will be moved to a future agenda. 7E, consideration of a site plan of operation for Heartland Custom Homes Incorporated for the property located at 1144 County Highway D, also described as Lot 1 of CSM 5725, located in the southwest 1/4, northeast 1/4, Section 8, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-637-10, total area of 1.4 acres. Emily.
Letters were sent to 2 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. The site plan of operation would be for the construction of a mixed-use, multi-tenant building. And, Matt is here.
Sir?
And we do have his, their material samples here.
My business partner, Will Blakey, is also here.
Okay.
What was his name, I'm sorry?
Will Blakey?
Will Blakey?
I'm just sharing your samples. If you wanna talk
Sure,
while
if
they
you
do
want to
this.
talk about the property or proposed ideas,
Yeah, we just initially bought the property a little while ago from DCM with intent, we're renting office space on the corner right now from Alan, the old thing, of putting a model home there. We're residential home builders. We love building down in Rome here. We want it to be a little bit more local. Our main office is in Clover. So our initial conditional use of the property that we got approved for, we hope to put a model home there in an office, but since we've been down here, we've got a lot of requests for commercial space and place for people to have businesses and to rent. So just kind of changing our goal and perspective that instead of just building a building only for us, that we would build a couple multi-purpose storefront buildings for retail, office, or beverage and entertainment. So we're just changing our conditional use from a single building to multi-building available for multi-tenants.
Are you asking to build one building or 2 buildings?
The goal would be to do 2 buildings. We have probably enough interest to fill one building right away, and prospectively, to get going on a second building right away, to add retail space.
So you would be requesting tonight for 2 buildings?
Correct.
One just would come a
Per the
little
site
late.
plan, yeah. Yeah, initially, we'd get pre-leased with a couple companies to get the first building funded. If that happened, we would like to go ahead with the second building right away, but we want to get the approval for 2 buildings on that lot, so.
And they would look identical?
It'd be identical mirror image buildings, correct.
the space that you have there is 1.4 acres. There's a drawing here of your proposal where 2 buildings go in there with all kinds of parking spaces and, do you feel there's enough space there to accomplish what you're looking to do for that 1.4 acres?
Yeah, we poured over it quite a bit. You know, we have the 1.4 acres, but we also have a recorded easement, which is another 30 feet to the north, which is the access off of County D. So we don't have access off of Highway 13. So even though our building is taking up quite a bit of the space, we did our calculations too to stay under the 65% pervious for the commercial. So we do have enough green area yet to handle our runoff, our POTUS system that we're going to need, and well, you know, so yeah, we fit in there. You know, but the idea is one building is going to be a little bit more entertainment, which will probably be businesses that are open later. The other side would be businesses standard more 9 to 5. You know, so we are a little tight on parking, but we do cover the state requirements for buildings in the 5,000 square foot for one parking space for every 75 square feet. So we have managed to fit everything on there, still have enough green space buffer to handle all of our runoff and water and things like that, as well as our POTUS system. So yeah, we're maxed out on there, but we did leave enough buffer space for still some green area on there, and the parking and the users.
Are you doing one septic for both buildings?
Correct.
Can you give me some idea what you mean by entertainment?
I don't want to divulge people that are prospective renters, but just family environment, you know, no strip clubs, not that kind of adult
Those are
entertainment.
not.
Family
Entertainment
entertainment.
covers a broad spectrum, that's why I'm asking
You have
the
to go on
question.
the eighth of badge
Yeah,
for that.
I don't want to divulge people that are, we're working with on prospective rent, but it is family entertainment. They have several other venues around the state, you know, so they're kind of expanding their chain of operations. Very busy, very popular entertainment.
There's already some word already in the community, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's not hard to
They're
keep
very
a secret
excited.
around here.
On your application, you put that you're gonna use a sanitary sewer system, but then I see on your plan that you have a septic system. You realize that you'd have to run a pipe all the way to Rapids if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, it should be POTUS, yeah.
It says town sewer, we didn't know what that meant.
I did want to get back to your traffic flow though, with the size of the development you're talking about and having the entrance off D and, you know, if that's the only access to this building and the amount of parking and the amount of retail entertainment space you're talking about and the success I would anticipate for the type of establishment you're hoping for or planning for, if that's the only access you're gonna have, are you planning to eventually request access off of
I did
Highway
re-
13 from the
I did request
DOT?
access off of Highway 13, but they denied it. I mean, I
You
can
were
appeal
denied?
it. I can appeal it to the state. Kind of my argument was Quick Trip has the exact same thing where you can only come out and turn right. But that, I think, was already pre-existing with Pritzl's being there before the median expansion and everything like that. So I can appeal it, and I might have a little bit of appeal because Quick Trip has it, but I'm not confident that the state would grant me egress. And that's what it would be. My initial application to the state was that people could only turn in there and then they would leave on County D. But yeah, they were really not willing to entertain any kind of.
Do you have any other
Yes, on there,
options? Except what other?
Yeah, so we have the easement in the back. Right now, it's kind of a narrow blacktop road. Well, we have 30 feet, so we can easily get that to comfortably 2 cars passing. We tried
Okay.
to set up our parking well enough that people can go around both buildings, you know, not get caught in a middle traffic flow. So
So
we
you
tried
can
to.
get 2 cars, okay.
Yep,
And would be all new pavement, it's noted as all new pavement.
all new pavement, correct.
I would
A lot
also
of it.
mention that Matt and I have talked, the town does not have a liquor license. We don't anticipate that we're going to get a liquor license, so any, even family orientated would be fermented beverage only.
Correct, and that fits in the people that we're talking to just fine.
And you do have on here days and hours of operation, 7 AM to 2 AM, and you do know that we have a limit of hours of operation with noise and that sort of thing that.
Correct, yep.
Okay. So it'd probably be earlier than 2 AM.
Yeah, we're not running the businesses, we're just creating
Oh,
the space.
okay.
So they're all gonna have to come and get,
They're
Got
gonna
it.
lease the space.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah, and everybody that we're looking at is permitted in the gateway area, you know, we're not looking to, you know, bring anything special in there.
But also just to manage their expectations too. I mean, we-
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep,
On the site, the plot, the site plan, the easement access that you have on the east side of the property, what is the, depth of that? Is it 15 feet wide?
30 feet.
It's 30 feet? Okay.
Yeah, currently, there's only about a 15-foot blacktop swap on there, but there's more easement area there as we repave everything that it'll get widened out for good traffic flow.
And the easement, is that part of, the deed area is it on your deed?
Yeah, so it's kind of a strange thing, but we did have our lawyers and, our surveyors take a look at it, that it does transfer, it's a lifetime transfer of easement. We were a little worried about that because, you know, we bought it from somebody and, the bank was obviously owned by another party that both entered into the easement, but they are binding, on both deeds.
And then the driveway that is around the perimeter of the property, well, except for on the west end, you have the parking stalls to the west of the driveway area, and that's all, I think you don't have a dimension of that driveway on the east end of the property. Is that also 15 feet? Because it doesn't show what that driveway is.
That driveway area would be 16 feet to make sure that cars can bypass.
Okay, what about fire trucks? I'm really concerned about like fire trucks and emergency vehicles and things of that sort.
Yeah, the easement will be plenty wide with the access off of County D.
I'm talking about the
center.
driveway.
Right,
do we-
so the designated driveway area would be quite a bit wider. I mean, between the two buildings, for that truck to be able to turn in and get into the parking lot between the two buildings.
It'd be adequate for like the Y turn that's required
Where?
between the buildings, so like up, back, or even all the way around, I guess, I don't.
We could ask Chief to,
Yeah.
that could be a condition
If
we
there are
set to
cars
have
parked in the parking stalls.
The fire truck will move them.
They'll be moved.
That hose goes right through windshields and out the.
We don't need to worry about that.
But we could make that as a condition to
Yeah,
have,
we'd
make
have
sure
to-
the
we'd
fire
have
chief
to-
looks at it.
Make
Sidewalk
sure
to
that fire
sidewalk, I
truck
think
can
is
drive
62
around.
feet.
Not have to do
Oh,
a
wow.
Y turn at an intersection.
Concerned about
We have
this
commercial-
right here.
We have
This, I
friends
don't
with
think
commercial
is
property in
appropriate.
Rapids, you know, so we measured out the parking lot, what the adequate space for the two parking and then the center car parking without it being too tight. Everything in that property is 60 feet, 62 feet. We're trying to maximize what we could on our property and give that little bit of
So they
extra.
don't come back with a site plan.
That's part of this. I do have a question about this building here. Are these like garage doors, or are they those glass type garage doors you see like?
Yeah,
like-
glass
like-
front, yeah, so the
Like
idea.
in open air restaurants and
Correct.
coffee,
Yep,
so when they open up, people can enjoy open air dining, that sort of thing, is that what
Correct.
that is?
yeah, we're just thinking about the Rome atmosphere,
Yes.
you know, obviously with Pritzels being lost and Quick Trip being in there,
Yes.
the gathering space. But we're also trying to get like-minded tenants where somebody will come and go and service each venue there, so we're trying to find like businesses.
Right,
So you're
draw
gonna stop
them
at one
to
business and go to the other.
complement one another.
Correct, complementary, and then, the idea of that is then, you know, if they can open up areas of there for open air, that people are gonna be intermingling and be more
Sure.
likely to go from one business to the next business.
So I guess I'm confused. In the plan of operation, you're putting down what you anticipate what the property will potentially be used for.
Correct.
So if, in your, answers on the operation checklist, it talks about music, that there will be music, and that it says inside or outside music, you have yes, daily noon to close, bar, restaurant. Is this something that should not be on this site plan because you don't really know exactly
Correct,
what?
that's, and my
or not
draftsman and
the
estimator
plan of
that's filling it
operation?
out, I'm like, I think you're giving them way more information than, cause each of those businesses are gonna have to comply. I'm not doing the businesses, I'm creating this space for them to.
Nick?
in there.
So, I was going to ask the question, then you kind of referenced it, so I didn't raise my hand, but now that it's being asked here, I would just say that I had the same question in that when we're talking about a site plan of operation, I think we check the boxes, you know, somewhat for site plan and less so for plan of operation. To account for that, because I understand the difficulty that we're hearing with some of the answers, you could place a condition that any prospective tenant needs to come here before you. So you can check the box that they do fit the requirements we have in our ordinance and make sure that it is in fact compatible with our requirements in the town.
Okay, we're to make a recommendation to the board.
You are.
So in our recommendation,
Yep, you do that
we
with
would
the
place
findings of
that.
fact. So
Pardon me, I'm sorry?
you do it with the findings of fact, so you have a spot there for conditions. I believe you have findings of fact, don't you?
Yes.
I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for example, you might put a condition that the fire chief sign off on emergency vehicle access and movement for the proposed layout. You might put a condition that says that any prospective tenant come back before the plan commission for approval, just so you can go through and make sure that they are in fact a, you know, allowed use in the area. Those are things that I think you could make in your recommendation to the town board and have as part, because recognizing the difficulty here with approving a site plan and plan of operation in this situation where there's talk with prospective tenants and a vision to get compatible tenants in that space, but maybe it's too early to talk about what that would exactly be. It just gives some assurances, I think, on both sides that A, he can proceed with working with those tenants and lining them up, and B, that we can move it on, but still be assured that we are going to see it again to ensure that that compatibility exists. Mutual trust.
And then what about the type of sign? I mean, is it the first tenant's call and then they all follow suit? Or, I mean, is it a monument, is it a hanging, and then who gets to pick? And, I mean, or is that determined now and they just, I mean, who determines that at what point?
That's a good question. I think it would be, it definitely is subject to a sign permit.
I think you
Question
can
about
make that a condition that it meets the gateway.
Well, we know that, but it's like how many businesses are gonna be in there and then how much space, because there's a square footage limit. I mean, we run into that down by the MPD builders and still gotta figure that one out, but I mean, so now we have this very beautiful building. Who gets first pick and how much space there's gonna be and how many signs are we gonna allow them, and we might run into an issue because there could be some really great businesses there, and who gets what and where does it go? When do we decide that part of this?
Well, you would submit a sign permit to me.
Yeah, so we have enough property frontage there that we can meet the signs, with having our signs 100 feet apart, so we do have enough room for one building for each one. Right now, the tenants that I have, there'd only be 2 in the one building. It would be taking up most of the space. Ideally, I could get 4 or 5 into the other building, but if they're smaller, more office-related type things, they need a smaller placard, you know, so. We do realize that some of the restriction, you know, even talking to people to get enough signage for people to recognize it on the main highway for their businesses is a
Right.
concern.
We definitely wanna work with you so that everybody
Correct.
gets recognized and their businesses
So the
are
other idea, and I don't know if
acknowledged.
it's a workaround, by putting a lot of glass on the front of the building, you know, if they can put basically their logo on the glass surface and not a mounted sign on the physical structure, you know, but that'll have to be something that comes through the signing and compliance, you know, so that's another part of the reason of the large amount of glass storefront. So if a business gets in there, they can only have a small sign on the building itself and a small sign at the road. If they have these 10-foot by 10-foot overhead glass doors, they could maybe put some application on the glass to define their business as well.
Cause we definitely want them to be able to be seen from the roadway, I mean, so we want them to have that ability to be acknowledged and noticed, and so.
Is this the proper place to start asking about design standards, or is that later on in the process?
It's our building, so if it's the outside, I'd be happy to answer any
Okay.
questions on the building itself.
Yeah,
I
a little
have several
concerned with
questions on that
this.
Go ahead.
then. Showed you though.
Mhm.
I warned you.
You did.
Parking area with 10 or more spaces may require perimeter landscaping or visually reduce the adverse impacts. And I noticed on your site plan that you show, water runoff and retention area, landscaping existing grass, but there's no plan then to put up like small shrubs or something to lessen the impact of the 10 or more parking spaces that you'd be
Yeah,
having
there
here?
would be when we actually apply for the building permit, the next phase, you know, we go through landscaping and, all the stuff in the building permit phase.
So that's not, that doesn't have to be on the site plan that we're gonna be recommending to the town board?
I guess I would say with the lawyer, maybe put that as a condition, but,
He's
Yeah.
reading my mind. I would say maybe, subject to an approved landscaping plan, again. coming
yeah,
before you.
so our main goal here was, one, can we get the conditional use to put up retail space, as opposed to our existing idea of putting a model home there? I think the retail space serves the community better than just us having our own, retail space there for a model home. Then secondly is, do we do two buildings or we just try to do one? You know, we wanna be compliant with the city, but at the same time, we wanna maximize the return on our, investment of the property, but we also wanna offer more opportunity from the people that have talked to us to get into retail space.
And then just a terminology clarification, this is not a conditional use, that'd be something different. This is just approval of the
Site
site plan,
plan.
plan of operation
Site
for
plan,
the
plan
building.
of
Yep.
Yeah. We definitely need the retail space, but.
It also in the design standards says that, large parking space requirements must demonstrate that they will not provide an urban parking lot appearance. And,
Yeah, so what we have on both ends of the buildings are, outdoor patio space, you know, so those would be more landscape areas, you know, probably with the potential to get greenery in there if it's one tree or a shrub.
yeah, but the parking will be between Highway 13 and that patio area, according to the site plan.
Correct. Yep. And then the buffer that we have from the parking lot to Highway 13, the extra 30 feet we have there for water retention, that has the potential for landscape and shrubbery and greenery, you know, to keep the appeal off of Highway 13.
Earth tone colors, and you did present some of, and is that the basic, what you're going to be doing, or is this
Correct.
just a, okay, and then, the if the property is in a visually prominent area, such as a highway intersection, the design must acknowledge the special impact the project would have on the entire community, which is the rural forestry kind of feel, which is my interpretation of that. And the design of the buildings, to me, are more of a boxed kind of a style, unless with the front portion with the patio area, if there's something special that you're planning on doing that would make it more of that up north forestry kind of a feel. You know, is that a plan to do something a little bit more?
So we have the large parapet wall there, which would get the wood, material on it. Yeah, we were looking through there and, you know, you have some restrictions on roof pitches and stuff like that, but,
Yep.
I guess you have to decide if we're gonna be stuck in a singular design aesthetic. You know, so we were concerned about having the low slope mono roof on there, we knew it was part of the thing. You know, so we are willing to make some design changes, so we are allowed to have a flat roof, you know, so we could take on the patio side, that large wooden structure that is more of a mansard decorative wall, and take that as a flat plane all the way across, so that from Highway 13, you just see a flat roof plane, even though it is sloping off, to the rear of the building.
So the material that you have here, Mark, roofing, are you talking about the roof, or are you talking about the overhangs up by the doors?
Yeah, so that would be the roofing as well as the awnings over the doors.
Kinda lost me at that, cause it's not in the, and this is kinda what we have on the town hall, so that.
It's the same product, just a
Yeah.
darker shade, yeah.
Looks
So
just like
that
it.
looks, yeah, that looks the same as what we got here, I like that. Kinda lost me at this. But that was kind
Yeah,
of.
that material goes on and then we acid wash it and then it begins to rust, so it's more like a
Oh.
natural environment and then it'll pull in the browns and stuff from the building.
Oh,
Won't be like a real shiny
that's kinda cool.
mirror under, so. And then we're hoping putting that on the roof, typically Galvalume and white will help us with Energy Star tax credits. It's a large reflective surface. And you can't see the roof.
I didn't see on the site plan either, any kind of a landscape or something with regard to the dumpster area. A buffer of some kind to kind of
Yeah, we would.
block that.
Yeah, we would do a dumpster enclosure of the same materials as the building, and then we could easily do 2 shrubs on the east side, buffering it from the road.
Again, would that have to be part of the recommendation, cause it is not on the site plan?
You can say that can be included in the landscaping plan. It could be a good note to be included in the landscaping plan.
Yeah, these are conceptual buildings right now to try to get the site plan and the plan of operations. You know, we still have to go through the whole building permit process.
Just would, if it should look substantially similar to what you're showing them tonight.
Correct,
though.
yep.
Yeah, okay.
I just kind of feel there are things that the design standards and what we are being shown are not all here.
Is this complete according to the checklist?
Outside of, I actually don't have the checklist on this one. I mean, landscaping plan, stormwater runoff, those are things that are needed.
Still needed,
Yep.
okay.
And the other thing is that, has the Department of Commerce approved the building plan? It's no, not submitted yet. Is that something that we need to have prior to making a recommendation to the board?
No, but you would need it prior to issuing the building permit, that would,
Yeah.
I'd agree. Again, you can put it as a condition. It all, I mean, it all
It would need
interplays,
to
right?
happen.
But see, look at all the conditions we're putting on something. You know,
I don't
and
think
it
this
just,
would need to be a condition, cause it would need to go through that before I could approve a building permit. Like, there are things in code that need to happen that don't need to be conditions.
Yeah, I
Like the
wouldn't disagree.
fencing around the dumpster, that doesn't need to be a condition, cause it's a requirement.
But if you're requiring a landscape plan and part of the landscape plan might be some of the screening, I think, like what was talked about, you might want to reference that as a condition.
can we just say that a landscape plan has to come back to for approval?
Yes?
Would you like it to be an agenda item, or like what I did with materials for the brewery?
I wasn't here with the brewery thing, so I'm not exactly sure how
I-
that was presented.
I just
The
bought your
stuff you showed,
materials today.
that-
Right, but I don't know what, you know, that,
They just said I needed to approve those, and so I
Oh,
brought
I
them
see
to
what
you
you're
just
saying.
to show you
Okay.
guys, and you guys.
well, he would,
Would not.
then he wouldn't have to come back or anything, is that what you're
Correct.
saying?
Yeah,
Just
so
saying you get a
agenda
plan in
item,
front of
they
you.
need to be here,
Wouldn't
or
have to
you
make
guys, I'll take the landscaping plan, review it, and work with him on it, them. And then I present it to you guys at the beginning during like announcements like I did with the brewery.
And if we don't like it,
Then I communicate that.
okay. So there is an opportunity to change.
Yes, for sure.
just like with
Just like with the
this,
brewery.
yeah, if there was concerns.
Yeah, we care about the law, we care about the aesthetics. You know, I'm a more modern building fan, you know, but I think that can blend well with the Northwoods, especially with the people that are moving here and living here and entertaining here. You know, and obviously we care about the lot. First thing we did was to remove that double wide trailer that's been
Thank you.
there for a long time, you know, so we're more than willing to work, with you guys, you know, to make sure that we're meeting with Rome there.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Anything else?
What is a monolithic type of a building?
So the roof plane only slopes in one direction. We don't have a gable end where you have multiple roofs.
And you're having a flat roof, you said?
It is a low slope to the back of each building.
I believe we might have been gone for that one meeting when we talked about that, when we were talking about those types of roofs.
I have no recollection of anything like that.
Yeah.
I could have killed that brain cell since then.
No, you were gone for a valid reason, you had to miss that meeting.
Yeah, and we could easily take
No,
the roof,
but that's-
we could
we
easily
had
take the roof
approved
to a
those.
flat
We had
roof
gone
and then
through a
meet
special
the
meeting.
compliance of there.
No, that meeting
But
meets what we've
a low slope
approved.
roof helps us control the water a little bit more.
No, that type of roof line has been approved now, and we've gone through that discussion, and it's a newer design thing, and more homes are being built with those now.
But that change was for residential.
Residential.
I think it always was in commercial.
So there, I don't have the phrasing in front of me, but it would, I guess I don't wanna talk on it, cause I don't know the exact phrasing, but, essentially we'd ensure that it's
It meets
compliant with,
the slope requirement.
yeah.
Cause otherwise the building sits just past the 200 feet though, or is it in the 200 feet?
No, it's in the 200 feet.
The front portion of the building is within the 200 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Does that pull in, and maybe this qualifies, cause I'm with Diana on roof slope, but then would that pull in commercial A, and commercial A is flat roof or 612?
Yeah, and that's why he's saying he'd go flat roof.
Yeah, so I think you would have to go flat roof, cause you wouldn't get a 612.
I wouldn't want a 612.
Yeah.
That's not what this picture.
Is that because it's within the 200 feet?
Yes.
Yeah, cause when you're within the 200 feet, then you go to commercial A in Road Town Center.
I don't think we permit, 112 in any district.
No,
I'm not sure we do.
no,
Even
312s
B1.
would be our,
On a slant.
which is what we went to in residential.
In the design standard, there's just this one thing, and then I'm done. It says, new development should fit into the existing woodlands character through building design and the use of materials, colors, landscaping, and signage, which complement naturalness, open space, and clean appearance and maintain visual order. So that's where what I would envision for especially a property such as what you are planning on developing.
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
7F, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose. A short-term rental at the property located at 470 Duffers Trail, owned by Kurt and Stacy Bergman. Also described as Lot 5 of Arrowhead Green addition to Lake Arrowhead, located in the southeast 1/4, southwest 1/4, section 20, town 20 north, range 6 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Parcel number of 030-2695. Emily?
Letters were sent to 11 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. Staff recommends an occupancy of 15, maximum vehicles of 6 to be parked on hard surfaces, not on the lawn or grass at the property. The applicant has completed all license requirements, including property manager within 25 miles, on record with the town. And Deb is here to represent the property.
Hi.
Hello.
Deb with Cottage Keeper. We're the full-service property management company for the property, so we deal with all the renters. We're on call 24/7. We put signs in the house that they cannot park on the road, all the requirements of the town road.
Any concerns with 15 occupancy and 6 vehicles?
No.
So
There's
there is,
5 bedrooms.
there is
5
sufficient hard parking surface on the property
Yeah, I actually,
for 6 cars?
typically I go half, and I actually cut back, more because of the limited parking. So like they have the garage plus, driveway area.
Plus the apron.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's how I got
So
to
it's
this 6. So I
sufficient
did
parking.
cut back from what half would technically be. Yep.
Okay, cause that was gonna be my question to Emily, because the garage with the driveway, you were cutting it back some, because with the drain field and the septic on the right side of the house, there's really no, and you can't park on the grass. Where were they gonna put all those cars?
Yep, so I
Okay.
included, garage plus the apron is how I got to that 6.
All right, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Any questions for this young lady?
It is a really big
It doesn't
house.
look that big from the road, though.
No,
It,
but you get it, go in and it's beautiful.
it is deceiving, it's really close.
It's geared for golfers, so,
Yeah,
'cause all the
it was
bedrooms
built
have
for a
en-suites.
purpose, that's for sure. It was definitely built for
All
a
the
purpose.
bedrooms have ensuite?
Oh, yeah, they, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Item number 8, close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Bill to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 9, discussion and possible action regarding the meeting minutes from Tuesday, May 9th, 2023.
I'll move that we approve the meeting, minutes, with a few comments and a question.
I'll second.
Okay,
Okay, page 3 of 10 of the meeting minutes, towards the bottom, under B. There's a question, it says but now Nick has left, so this might be an issue, and I'll have to maybe make some notes and, have to come back to it. There was a question about interference, would it occur, and what would be done to correct that? And the person that was here representing the cell company said that if you ran into it, the tower would be directly between the transmitting and the receiving, and a homeowner may have to move their antenna to correct the problem. I had some questions about this after the meeting, and I guess we'll have to refer this to Nick maybe at another time and bring it back, so, or what we
What
can
was
do.
the question?
What is your
Well,
question?
the question was about moving their antenna if it's been attached to their home for a long period of time, and, what we can do to assure that they won't have, because they are right next to where the tower is being sited.
Yeah, but aren't we just approving the literal words on the page here?
That's correct, but then going down here to the next question, there is an excessive noise remittance to the tower. No, there's a backup generator that would run if the power is lost or during the maintenance, and it says no. So that wasn't really asking our question. The one concern I do have is on page 5 of 10, and it's up at the top where it says, answer. And it says Commissioner Jamadi stated that Lake Arrowhead's A&E committee will be addressing several of the issues this business presents as it pertains to their covenants. Then it goes on to say the Plan Commission cannot in fact act on this agenda item until after Lake Arrowhead makes its final determination. I never said that.
I think that was meant to be a enter, we can add the enter, but also,
Because what was actually said at that time was that, we would table it to another meeting when, Tiffany would, come back to us, and after that meeting took place, so,
we can
I
make
don't know where
change.
that came from, it's just really, it's like, out of left field, I know sometimes my memory doesn't
I don't know
always
that
serve
it,
me the best, but
I don't
never
know that
said
it relates to anything that you said.
not
It's,
attributed
to
it's
you.
just a
I don't think
statement.
it- Yeah, I don't think it
Oh.
was
It's not
meant to say
attributed
you
to you,
said
it's
it.
another
Oh,
statement.
okay, cause it just seems like it was a run-on another sentence that was attributed to me, and I'm just like, where did that come from? But,
So can we just delete that last sentence?
yeah, because it was tabled.
Well, I think that's what she
Oh.
was told though at the time, is she's gotta go to Lake Arrowhead first.
Oh,
And we
okay.
can't do anything until she would get approval from Lake Arrowhead to be able to
Exactly.
move
So
forward.
This is
Okay.
just, yeah, she was, so Linda was doing this part of the minutes. So like a lot of it's question answer, but this is
Okay.
like the paragraph where she stated what you said, and then
Okay.
the next sentence is not what you said, but
Okay.
it's saying
Cause
plan
I was like,
commission.
wow,
revert
that was a
back to
really
Lake Arrowhead.
definitive answer from me, cause I'm like, wow, I didn't, okay, just wanted to make sure. And then, thank you very much for clarifying that. And I think, let's see. And that would be it. So then basically those were just comments then. Thank you very much.
In the conditional use, for the towers, there was something included in there that says, nothing in the conditional use permit shall be deemed to authorize any public or private nuisance or constitute a building permit, et cetera. So if there would be an issue or someone would have the interference, we would say you couldn't provide a nuisance, and we would work to get that adjusted.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, forgive the new guy, but are there inspections made of the short-term rentals prior to granting the permit?
Yes.
So that we know that for a fact the rules are posted?
Building inspector,
Golf
the
course
fire chief,
regulations will
the
be
police chief are all part of the inspection process.
Police don't go on site, they do a background check.
Background check.
Forgive the new guy.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The rules from the golf course, though, that's not part of it.
Well, it should, I thought you made it part of the rules.
Well,
We-
that's, go ahead.
We said we would touch base with Arrowhead about, sharing more about speed on the golf course, but that's not part of code, it's not part of ordinance. But we would work
So
with
we
them to
can't
share
place that as a rule on short-term rental, that they cannot use adjacent property
No.
without permission? They're trespassing.
Certainly, in the case
So
of
there should be a
the,
rule that says you're trespassing if you go on adjacent property, it's not part of the property you're renting.
but the piece about the golf course, we would
Well, I'm
have to.
talking about adjacent property.
Yeah, adjacent, certainly you wouldn't wanna go onto the other neighbor's property, I understand.
Have you
And we-
had an
But we don't
oppor-
have a rule.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. But we don't have a rule. It's not part of the rules that get posted in the,
It's a law, you can't trespass.
well, but it's, you're having people from any place in the universe come and rent these pieces of property. How do they know it's
Mobile
allowed?
universe, but yeah.
How do you know?
That's true.
Have you had an opportunity to talk to,
Not specifically about posting something about on the golf course, but, we do ask them to post the ordinances that they get as part of their license in the property and to include additional information about the town through code.
have you talked to Joel or, who's the other person? Not
Heather is the.
It's
yeah,
Jill
Heather.
now.
Jill?
Is Jill the,
Can we go back to the minutes? That's what we're voting to approve here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Good point.
Forgive the new guy.
So there's a motion, a second on the floor to approve the minutes. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Number 10. Discussion and possible recommendation to the town board. Consideration of the proposed comprehensive plan map 9 amendment from forestry to rural residents and zoning map amendment from FR Forest and Outdoor Recreation District to R4 Rural Residence District relating to the property owned by Mark and Christina Stelzner, also described as Government Lot 4, located in Section 3, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Parcel number of 030-524, total area 40.0 acres.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to the town board, the comprehensive plan map 9 amendment from forestry to rural residential and zoning map amendment from FR to R4 for the property in question. Would like to include a additional condition that we get a commitment for the land use and a commitment to not divide. That was discussed when Nick was here.
So let's, for phrasing for that, any request for land division must return to plan commission regardless of, number of parcels. Just cause that's a similar phrasing that was used on a past one.
Can you say that again, please, Emily?
Maybe.
request for land division.
So if, any future requests for land division, regardless of number of parcels, must return to Plan Commission for approval.
Is that the only two conditions
Well,
that you
it-
want?
But we have the findings of fact that I forgot to include. Then yes.
What was the first?
It was a commitment
For the land
for
use.
land use?
And commitment not to divide, or more eloquently put it.
Can you clarify commitment to land use?
Yeah.
Do you mean like a permitted use would be, they can have one house? Like,
Right. But as he was discussing earlier, and and the concerns that people brought up, so it's, I don't know. I thought Nick had explained how we could condition this into it.
There is a piece that goes with that, sir. It's based off the MFL. I have to show what my development or what my long-term usage of that land is.
yeah, we can't place a condition on MFL though. But we could phrase it very similar to the land division. If there's any significant clearing of the lot, would need a return to Plan Commission, so you wouldn't be allowed to clear your property, clear cut, without approval. Would that,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, I need to wait out. I'll be right back.
Is it possible to wait for Nick to put his 2 cents on the findings of fact before that, we have the property owner sign it? Is that something,
So
Don't
this
understand
is-
what you're saying.
This is
Attorney
a
review
recommendation
prior
to town
to
board.
passage.
I'm sorry?
This is recommendation to town board, so Nick will be here, at the town board meeting when this is, cause this is a recommendation
The
for
zoning map
approval.
amendment,
So
okay.
he will be there for town board approval.
Okay.
So if there's any changes to conditions, that can be addressed.
So any additional requests for land division regardless of number of parcels must return to Plan Commission, and no widespread clearing?
Yeah, no significant clearing of trees without Plan Commission approval. And I add that Plan Commission approval just cause that's a Nick phrase that we're adding in there.
Okay, so we have a first motion by Jeff. Is there a second for further discussion?
I'll second it for further discussion.
Okay.
If there is any.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the conditional use permit with the two conditions of no clear cutting of the property, removing the trees, and no division, land division of the property. Is that correct?
Correct.
I don't like the word significant because it doesn't have a finite number attached to it. Like we have our flagpole is 2 to 1 or whatever else, but,
Do you wanna say the acreage
um,
or a percentage? No more than, I need to get a calculator out, but.
we have him, he's sitting right behind you.
You have to remember that in MFL, periodically, you have to do forestry maintenance, which requires clear cutting
Yeah, it does.
and replanting.
Every so many years, depending
Right.
on which program they're enrolled in.
We can't
which
say
kind
you
of-
can't do that.
No, depends on which program he's enrolled in too.
Well, any of the MFL, whether it's closed or open, but
Well, and that condition was like minor secondary. I mean, the condition of not to divide the property is the important one, so.
you could just say the property must remain, the 38 acres must remain in forestry.
I like that,
There we go.
forestry. That
Yeah,
is not.
that's good, Jerry.
I like that.
That's why we keep you around, Jerry.
I didn't get your whiteout.
That way, if MFL requirement, property or timber management says that they have to clear cut, they can still do it. Because it's still timber or forestry, I mean.
Okay.
So you want to amend your
Yes.
motion, Jeff, then
That
to,
would be the conditions.
to, that 38 acres remain in forestry, and that there is no land division of the property.
Yes, that is my motion.
Second agrees to the amendment.
Thank you.
Was the property 2.5 that you took out at MFL? Just 2, okay.
Any other discussion on the motion and the second?
I just really wanna have, just one last part of this discussion is to really understand, if we do this, we're starting down a path of other 40s being sold, and these being switched over in an area, that we're starting down a path here that now changes what a small group of individuals brought forth to this, that we set up to have our comprehensive plan change. And now people start putting homes in here and they're going down, what if this parcel over here wants to change and they don't have access to a road that allows trucks and building materials to go up and down and get a septic system put in and dig a well, and you've got people that don't have access, but they wanna put a home on it. And then they ask us to change that parcel, and then you change that parcel, and then that completely impacts a comprehensive plan. A group of individuals sat and changed over a 6-month period that we just sent up to North Central Regional Planning, that we're waiting for the maps to come back on. I'm just throwing that question out there.
So the way I see it, and which is why I'm not, against this, is because I see the comprehensive plan as outdoor recreation, as that land use, not zoning, land use, and they're doing it. Like, that's what I see.
Okay.
And it won't be divided. And they need to maintain forestry, and they need to come back if it's gonna be divided. That's how I'm viewing it, cause the land use, you got it. It's outdoor rec and forestry.
Okay, and then the only other question I have,
Except for the home.
except for the home.
Except for 2 acres.
Except for 2 acres of the home and septic and well.
It's
And then
all in the 2 acres.
a two,
2 acres.
And-
All that has to be in the 2 acres.
right.
Yeah.
The only other question then is people who say, we're losing our trails, we're losing our hunting land. Well, they already purchased it, but we're losing trails. So that's the only piece of this, so just throwing that out there.
Okay, and if he has a managed forest land, is that open or closed?
Closed, sir.
So nobody can hunt in there anyway then?
And they can't go on the trails though.
They can still
The
use the
trail.
trail.
Trails.
Oh, they can use your trail, okay,
Yeah, the east-west one, I talked to a gentleman that was out there,
okay.
and he said, well, you bought this, so you closed it. And I go, no, I'm on an easement, it's a permanent easement, but I would not close that usage for ATVs, that east-west road, no.
Okay.
I mean, that's all part of, it doesn't bother me, it's the outdoor piece, and my daughter will probably get an ATV and probably ride on your trails.
All right, well, thank you, it's just all part of the discussion, so we appreciate that, thank you. And thank you, Emily.
So the motion's been made and seconded to approve the recommendation to the town board. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion carried. Item number 11, discussion of possible action, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose: to allow for warehousing and self-storage on the property described as Lot 2 of Certified Survey Map 6696, located in the southeast 1/4, northeast 1/4, Section 8, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-641-25, total area of 7.73 acres.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for the property on, I can't find the actual address.
It's not on there.
Okay,
Not on there.
that makes sense. Here we go. So the property in question, including the findings of fact. That's it.
Motion by Jeff to approve the conditional use permit for that property. Is there a second?
Did you set a term on that?
The terms on the findings of fact, right?
No.
The term would be indefinite. It's,
Indefinite.
Okay. It's not on the findings of fact, if this one would allow for a different term, so I just wanted to
Okay.
be clear.
I'll make the second to approve that conditional use permit for discussion.
I would like to have the approval contingent upon the actual consummation of the sale. And I would also like to put a condition on that any structure, anticipated structure, will not have warehousing or storage units visible from the road.
so you're saying not facing the road, correct?
Facing the
And
road.
maintaining a natural buffer?
Yes.
Okay.
I would be willing to put the contingent on the sale on there, but I would not put the second one on.
Well, I believe he's already mentioned he's gonna, he's got to be a setback 200 feet,
Yeah,
correct?
he's got to go through this process
He
anyways.
doesn't need a setback 200 feet, but if he's within that 200 feet, he mentioned he's gonna stay up to the aesthetics required for Gateway.
Okay.
So, like that office front or a storefront style, not warehousing front.
When he also said that even if it was just warehouse, it would still have to have the overlay design,
Correct.
so it's not like it's gonna look like a warehouse. It's gonna have our overlay design aesthetics.
Could I clarify too, if the term is indefinite on this conditional use, if sold, it transfers with the new ownership. So if you approve this warehouse in this moment, and it would be, let's just say the sale doesn't happen, and a different owner buys it, that means they don't have to come back for the conditional use. Indefinite would mean it travels with the property.
Is there a warning in there? So I don't.
I'm just saying that, cause like
Yeah.
our.
Yeah, that
our-
means you lose control.
Our conditional
hands.
use permits, like with our short-term rentals, are for the property owner, so if they sell, it doesn't
Right.
continue. I'm just mentioning that if there's, I feel there's some,
So like, avocados is going in. They are substantially similar to the last, business, so they don't need to come back to you. So as long as the use stays substantially similar going forward, you don't need to see a plan. If anything changes, no matter what, they're coming back to you.
So if he puts in a storefront and they close the storefront and just make it all warehouse, they have to come back?
I mean, I can't promise there'd be continuous storefront, like,
Based on what she just said.
no, because it's
No.
for warehousing and storage units with the
Right.
parcel.
yes, yeah, if he decided to come back for that storefront, like he said, and he did say he'd come back, he would come back for it.
Then, yes, then he would.
Okay.
But if it
If it just remains warehouse, it travels with the property.
travels with the property.
It was warehousing / office. Let's transfer that to the findings of fact, because that is in here, and that office front, I think, is attractive more than the warehousing front. So let's transfer that to findings of fact.
So warehouse,
Granted, you guys,
warehousing, comma, office and storage units?
yes,
Does he need a conditional use permit for office in the
no,
B1?
no, but it would be not bad to keep it here, or put it in the condition, if you guys, it would need to be on the site plan of operation regardless, but.
And it could could be like it is for short-term rentals, and the term could be indefinite with ownership of Mr. Olson.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so then that's the fix for that?
I'm not saying it's broken, I'm just pointing it out.
I wouldn't be in favor of not being indefinite. I think it would be redundant. Cause indefinite, as long as you guys are gonna approve the site plan of operation and this conditional use permit, if anything changes, that would be substantial, they need to come back to you anyway. So if everything stays the same, but just the owner changes, they don't need to come back. And that's what the indefinite would be.
Okay, so now I'm fine with it.
Well, that would be in perpetuity for as many times as that property would transfer over and over and over again for.
Yeah, as long as it stays the same, you don't need to see it, because
We
nothing
already approved the
changes.
warehouse, so why would it matter who owns it? We already approved the use of that land.
And the site plan of operation be approved by you. If something significant changes with that site plan of operation, it needs to come back no matter what, regardless if this is indefinite or not.
I think my only reason for bringing it up here is because there isn't any structure on the property yet. That's maybe my only reason for bringing it up here. Because if you approve it tonight, the next person does still have to come back for site plan of operation, absolutely, because there's nothing there.
So
But they wouldn't need another conditional use.
I like your condition of saying, this is
The approval is not
condition-
valid until the sale has been
not
consummated.
valid until, yes. I like that phrasing, not valid until the sale to John H. Olson.
Has been consummated, or whatever word you wanna use.
Okay,
All right, then I would like to add that condition
so you wanna amend your motion then,
to include that condition, yes.
and I'll amend the second. And so that everybody's clear, Jamie, when you're done writing, could you just give us a rundown as to what the conditions were again, please?
Yep.
And then will you be able to take a 3-minute restroom break?
We certainly could.
Thank you very much.
So the motion would be accepting the findings of fact for warehousing, office and storage units with the conditional use being valid upon sale to John Olson and the term of the condition being indefinite.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll move that we take a 3-minute recess.
Okay.
Make it quick.
And, okay, and I'll second your motion, so,
So that was 7B, huh?
7
Actually, it was number 11.
was number 11, correct.
Did the music start?
I don't know. I didn't see a text message that it,
I think I'm pretty close to my over-under. I like the condition of contingent on sale. It's creative.
You, save this stuff then for Paul so that he gets it at a later date?
yeah, we can.
Okay.
Sometimes people come in and pick it up, but we always keep a total packet here too, in case anyone would ever ask.
Thank you.
Well, and since that is now next agenda item, it'll be included in the packet.
Gotcha.
But it'll be very tiny.
I'll still provide the big one.
Does the tax rate change on that property that, can I ask this question? It has nothing to do, I was
Or-
just curious to,
Which property?
The one that, goes from, forestry to R4?
Tax rate would not change with
Not
zoning
change?
classification.
No?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It will when the structures are built.
The tax rate will not. The taxes will.
The taxes will.
Yeah, I'm assuming maybe he'd have to contact the DNR too, to take that 2 acres off of his MFL.
You already did that from sounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
understood
must
that
have
he-
missed that part.
You already,
Is there an order that needs to be, I saw something where there was an order recorded with that property. When you take it out of MFL or you do that, do you have to have an actual order that's recorded?
not sure.
I don't know either. I know that, you know, if you take it out before the expiration of the contract, you have to pay, you know, the back taxes and stuff on it.
It's rosemary. It's rosemary and strawberry.
It looked like a piece of grass. I guess it would be.
Okay, we'll be back on the record for the Plan Commission meeting. Item number 12, discussion and possible action, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose: to allow a storage rental building on the property located at 1163 Animal Court, owned by Linda Gehrig, located in Section 17, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-788, total area 3.0 acres.
I make a motion that we approve, the conditional use permit for that property, 1163 Animal Court, with, the condition that there will be one storage building constructed, of which only 10% of that can be utilized for personal use, and that the conditional use permit is only valid on the prospective certified survey map, Lot 2, and that the findings of fact be submitted as well. with
Second.
Those conditions.
You want to make,
Second.
okay, then for discussion, we want to make it contingent upon the sale of the property.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Oh, yeah, that's right, we should probably do that as well. I would amend my motion to include the fact that it will be effective upon the sale of the property.
I don't know that I got a
To-
second on your motion to start with.
Yeah, I second.
Jeff did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. And I'll second the amendment.
We also need a term, do we not?
I think it's in the findings of fact, right?
It's open on the, yeah.
It's open this time.
It, only for short-term rentals do we actually print it out.
Yeah.
So do we put a limitation on, or what? Do we say it's indefinite? Should that be added to the motion?
Has to be added. Has to be added to the findings of fact. Findings of fact.
So then I would amend it that it would be added to the findings of fact that it would be indefinite.
Second.
Okay.
I would also, on the findings of fact, it says for storage units rather than for, storage building.
Yep, we'll change that.
Okay,
So
thank you.
storage rental building instead of storage units.
Right,
Is that how you want it phrased?
consistent with what the
The application.
petition, the application,
Yeah, yeah, I guess it's.
storage
petition,
rental
yep.
building. Okay, did you get all that, Jamie? Sorry, we kinda rambled with that one.
I just wanna repeat it back to make sure that I got it all. So it would be accepting of the findings of fact, changing it to allow storage rental building with the condition of one storage building built on, one storage building built with only 10% allowed for personal property, conditional use valid upon sale of property, and that the CUP and one storage building to be built on CSM to be recorded as Lot 2 and attached.
Yep.
Okay, Motion and a second on the floor to approve the conditional use permit. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. They moved number 13. Okay, number 14. Discussion of possible recommendation to the town board. Consideration of a site plan of operation for Heartland Custom Homes Incorporated for the property located at 1144 County Highway D, also described as Lot 1 of CSM 5725, located in the southwest 1/4, northeast 1/4, Section 8, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-637-10, total area of 1.40 acres.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation to the town board, the site plan of operation for Heartland Custom Homes for the property at 1144 County Highway D. Include the findings of fact. Yeah, I'm used to not having to do terms, with an indefinite term.
This is just a recommendation, so do we need?
No, this is a site plan, so that can be taken off.
With the condition that all businesses have to come back with a plan of operation.
Right,
That was-
prospective tenants seek approval for their business, right?
With the fire chief sign off on the
Right,
site plan so that his equipment can maneuver.
and I have the approval of a landscape plan.
And is subject to approval of landscape plan. Correct.
And then these colors that they submitted right here, we agreed with that, right? Or is that, okay, I'll second it.
And then, just to clarify, how did you want the landscape plan presented to you? As an agenda item where they pay to come again? I'll just present it at the beginning?
Yes,
Okay.
if that's an agreement.
Yeah, I don't
I
think we should
I think
double
that
dip
works
'em.
well.
I think that worked fine.
I do
We
too.
don't need an appearance.
And this will be
No.
rusted, right? Cause that's
What-
cool.
What was the part about the
If it doesn't
emergency
rust, you're gonna have
vehicle?
to paint it.
That it's approved by the fire chief for the
Turnaround.
the turnaround in area in the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so that emergency vehicles can access all avenues of the property.
And prospective tenants must come
Seek approval for their
Back.
business.
to us.
Yes.
The landscape plan. What about the sign?
Yeah, sign plan.
Signage,
Oh,
it requires a
It
permit,
has to
so
come
I
back.
will.
So
see
that
it.
come, okay.
It
Yeah,
has to come back.
I
it
would
won't
like
come
to,
back to you.
oh.
Do you want it to?
I think I would like to see the sign plans for this. Because I
I
think
can do
there's,
that the same way as the landscape.
Yes.
Yep.
oh. Because I think there's potential for this on that building, you know, it. Okay.
You got
Bring
that,
it back to you.
Jamie?
Are was signs on then too? Should I be adding signs? Yes?
Subject to approval of landscapes plan and signage plan.
Signage.
Yeah,
They could be in the same one.
Mm-hmm.
sounds good.
The
It's gonna be a cool building, sign.
suggestion that he had made with regard to the logo on the doors.
I need to look into signage
I
code.
was gonna say, I
Okay,
don't know.
I
if
was
I'm
that's-
gonna-
wondering how,
Because
I'm gonna clarify that
there's a
before
square
giving an
footage
answer.
requirement,
But
you
it
know,
would
that
need to
can
be
only go over
consistent
so many
with
square
code.
feet, so depending if they have signs out by the road and then signs on the building itself, maybe above the door or whatever, they might not be able to put any type of applique or on the doors,
Yeah.
on the glass.
Right, because I think if they have really nice signs above their doors.
They won't need anything.
They don't need anything on the glass.
I agree.
Yep, don't worry about
Yeah.
the same time.
Okay, Jamie?
Can I repeat?
Did you hear
You
that?
bet.
So the motion would be accepting of the findings of fact with the following conditions. It's subject to approval by the fire chief for emergency vehicle access. That any of the proposed tenants come back before plan commission for approval prior to occupancy, and it's subject to an approved landscape and signage plan that'll be presented to the plan commission.
Perfect.
Present it, but not approved, but present it.
Can I do landscape plan and signage plan, because they are separate?
I did and signage.
Those
is
would
that-
be approved by the plan commission, those
As-
sign
Yeah,
plans.
they're both gonna come back, they won't be
Yeah.
together, but they're gonna come back.
Okay.
Can I ask the question on approval of the tenants? Does that mean that they have to take a site plan of operation for every tenant?
Site
think
plan,
that's how
plan
they
of
get back.
operation for
Okay.
each business.
Okay, so that's,
Cause then if they
So we
We
knew
would
which
have the
portion they're
option
occupying and
We'd have
what
the
they
option to
intend
review
do.
an outdoor display if they wanted one. We'd have the option to review
Right.
if they opened up their door and had seating, that kind of thing. So I
Yes.
think that'd be appropriate.
But it's also, then they are subject to the $350 fee too, just, yep.
I have a question with regard to the findings of fact. It says, the construction of a multi-tenant commercial building in residential districts. Is that,
Which number?
it's, just above where we start putting our conditions. It says, we're gonna approve to allow the construction of a multi-tenant commercial.
That's my error again.
Business
It was a
district.
rough month, I guess.
It's been very busy. So can that just be
It's been
struck?
rainy and it's been cold, so
Just erase the
Smell
residential.
Okay, we're good with that?
Yep.
Okay. So the motion's made and seconded to recommend to the town board, no, yes, recommend to town board the site plan and plan of operation for Heartland Custom Homes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 15. Discussion of possible action, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose, the short-term rental of the property located at 470 Duffers Trail, owned by Kurt and Stacy Bergman, also described as Lot 5 of Arrowhead Green addition to Lake Arrowhead, located in the southeast 1/4, southwest 1/4, section 20, town 20 north, range 6 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-2695.
I would make a oh, go ahead.
Nah, you're on it.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this correctly, but, I make a recommendation that we, approve the conditional use permit for the property at 470 Duffers Trail, incorporating the findings of fact with, the condition that 4 cars be allowed in the driveway with 2 in the garage,
So clarifying that.
clarifying the
six is-
6 car total parking.
I think that'd be fine. We should do that, right?
Everything else is in there that,
Th-
and that would
So
be,
you don't try to get 6 cars on the driveway.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just clarify that.
4 cars on the
six is-
driveway with 2 in the garage for 6-car parking,
Well, vehicles you wanna say,
or
cause
vehicles.
there were ATVs and boats.
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
good
there's a
point.
motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Bill second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor of the conditional use permit for the short-term rental, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I would like to suggest that we table number 16 and 17 to a future agenda.
I object.
Wonderful suggestion.
I agree.
You need more pain pills, Jeff, right?
You need a motion on that?
Oh, yeah, how are you
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Okay.
So 16 and 17 will be moved to a future agenda. Emily, anything special for number 18, next agenda items?
I have one that I'd like to see placed on a future agenda, at least, I don't know if you want to do it, the next one. Based on what's happened this evening and based on the reading that I've been doing prior to coming to today's meeting, I think we do need to do a full review of our code relative to permitted uses and conditional uses.
Are you
I'm
talking,
concerned about propagation of certain types of activities within districts.
when you say full, are you talking about commercial only or all
Nope,
residential?
I'm talking about all of them. What are our permitted uses and what are our conditional uses in each of our zoning districts?
Okay, I just wanted to clarify for Linda.
And I would also recommend that we do that as a group. And it's, recognizing what that will take, I'm not expecting to do it all in one meeting.
Would it not be more advantageous to have a subcommittee appointed?
I think you
Okay.
need the 7 opinion of the 7 people that sit on this committee and not
Sorry.
just 2 or 3.
That's okay.
You wanna start
Sorry,
an
didn't
hour
mean to give you a
earlier?
big fat no right off the top.
Your over
How you
under
wanna
is
do
now
it,
out the
that's-
window.
I'll leave that up to the chair and
Well,
to discuss.
is it something maybe that we wanted to start early one day, if that would make, if people could make it, where we start like at 3 o'clock instead of starting at 4 o'clock to give it,
If you wanna set aside, it's gonna take multiple meetings.
it certainly will, you're right.
So, if you wanna meet earlier.
Not, cause
stay
not
later, it's
knowing
up to
what
you.
the next agenda is going to look like,
I'm saying within a reasonable amount of time. I'm
Okay.
not saying it has to be
Not-
on the next agenda.
Understood.
I just wanna get it on an agenda.
And I'm starting to worry that if we're running late in that, and if short-term rentals, we have a long one, long list, or we have a short list, if we're running into where Nick is having to leave us because of other town commitments, do we have to think of other days, or, I mean, what's,
Yeah, or just starting an hour early, period,
yes.
every time.
Or a different day, I don't know.
We're cool with 3. Yeah.
I'm sure you,
Let's do 3.
I would
I'm
be
sure
clear.
you are, but then
If it works
you
for everybody
stuff
else,
later,
I'm
please.
fine with starting earlier.
I'm fine with starting earlier too, but Mike still works, so.
Well, my bosses are pretty liberal as to what I can do and not do, so I'm sure if I have
Diana
to.
might have other commitments, I don't know, but you're the
I guess I
worker bee.
can't stay and drink after I'm done golfing.
Things
Wait
are
a
tough all
second.
over.
You didn't just
Next
put that on
agenda
the record,
item.
did you?
you did
Oh, final plat.
They know me.
Okay.
That's clear.
So
Just
an
for
hour
Linda.
Why don't we
earlier?
get this adjourned before we have all our discussions?
Yeah, okay.
You were saying, Emily,
So next agenda item is the final plat.
Okay.
Timberland.
Timberline?
For Timberline Park, permitted and conditional uses of all zoning districts.
2 short-term rentals, I know for sure.
2 short-term rentals, items
Not bad.
16 and 17 of this agenda. And I believe we have we may have we might have 2 plan of operations coming for the 2 conditional uses on this agenda. And then we may have an additional site plan of operation or conditional use, I forget which one.
In reading some of the ordinances, I did see, and I can't remember where it was, that we should be getting some of these things at least 7 days in advance, some of these things. I'll find it again. But some of it is getting to the point where I would appreciate having a few more days looking at things. And
Yeah, I don't always get it. That's why.
But
that's why
then
you
should
guys
it be
do
in
And it
front of
shouldn't
the
be on the meeting.
commission?
If it's not in a timely manner, it shouldn't go on the agenda.
Then don't push yourself, because then it just pushes it onto the town board too, and sometimes it's the end of the month meeting. So if it's a timing issue for you, then, or
It
do
goes
we
to the
need to
next-
have, or
it
do we
gets
need to
pushed
have
to the
another
next
meeting?
agenda.
Cause there used to always be 2 planning commission meetings a month.
I mean, I can
years
just
ago.
be stricter of I need everything by a certain date. We can just,
It's your call.
My suggestion is you set the date, and if it's not there, it doesn't hit the agenda.
It's your
It's
call.
the next agenda.
we can do that. It's what we do for a short-term rental.
Yeah.
So we'll make a very strict deadline.
Or if there's some months that we do need a second meeting, are people opposed to that? But I mean, years ago, there were 2 plan commission meetings a month.
Depends on the amount of material we
It
need.
depends upon, yeah, again, so it's your call, but if they can't meet your deadline, but then again, too, you hate to put people off, but, I mean, it gets harder for us too if there's a lot of material to cover.
If they wanna do it, they'll get the deadline. If they don't wanna
True.
do it, they wait.
We need a motion to adjourn?
No, not yet. So the next meeting date and time is July 11th at 4:00 PM. 4. It's not on the paperwork, but 4:00.
I think
Correct?
we would go 4 o'clock next month, and then when we introduce that item, we can determine how we wanna handle it in
Sounds good.
Okay,
bite-sized chunks.
that sounds good, guys.
So
Yeah.
then I will declare the meeting adjourned at 6:23
Yes,
PM.
6:23 PM.
And now you can turn off your